Yeah, this bracket moves along pretty quickly, especially as you were saying, a few players are not present here today.
Mhm.
But we do have the likes of, we've got Cure here, we've got Dark in here as well, we've got
Mhm.
Special, NightMare, Percival, so definitely some strong players still left over in the bracket. So it'll be exciting to see what kind of a run that some of these players can make as well. Not always going to be the opportunity for your Percivals, for your Nightmares to make such a deep run, but I've got hope for them today that they can, try to get to the finals.
Definitely, definitely. We'll see which one of these two players can make it that far. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the South Korean Pro Toss player representing his brand new team, Team GP. It is NightMare.
And spawning in the upper right-hand corner of the map, it is the South Korean Terran. In the blue, it is Percival.
Boy, fighting over that jersey, fighting over that shirt. Who's gonna get it? We'll find out. As you were
why did they let us back here? Don't they know? They're gonna be like, you can cast this week, Light, but no one's fighting for jerseys. Everyone's gonna be wearing their shirts, okay? Including you, alright? I don't want none of this.
Just want everyone to be shirtless.
Just trying to have a fun time. It's Sunday, puppy.
It's Sunday, puppy. It's the
Let me
Lord's
live.
Day. Oh God, Jesus didn't believe in shirts. But anyway, God, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
It's great. What I was gonna say is, yeah, when it came to the 3-action from Percival in that previous game, I mean, it was really interesting to see that, actually work, to be honest. And it did kind of make sense that he would whip that out on a map like Waterfall. I know you were talking about that at the time. Because of that, I would be surprised if we see it on some of these other maps and some of these other larger maps.
Yeah, I don't want to talk in absolutes, but I think it would actually be really bad on this map.
Yeah.
Just because you have the ramp down at the third, and then you have another ramp that you can drop back to at the natural. This map is really good defensively for that reason. There's even bushes in front of the third ramp as well. So there's so many spots where you can intercept a push out on the map and kite it back. So I think definitely a wise choice from Percival here, going for a more standard 1-1-1 opening so far.
Yeah, definitely, as we can all see. Oh, actually, after that factory throws down a second Rax behind it.
Yeah, this has been very popular lately, going for a bit more of a quick stim push. I do believe it's probably something to do with the prevalence of Stargate in the current meta. If you can get an early stim timing, sometimes that can do quite a lot of damage, but it does look like on the side of NightMare, he is going for a Twilight Council opening.
Yeah, Twilight Council's just about to finish up. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, he is going to try and scout with his adept, but Percival is too good for that. He's on point with his Depot Micro, so able to keep that adept in the dark. And yeah, we've seen a lot of this recently. I was about to bring up Honwano, but at the same time, he does whatever the hell he wants. But we have seen like these kind of 2-1-1 variants in TVP find a little bit more success. But as you were saying, a little bit more success against Stargate.
Yeah, and it is something that it has been played around with for quite a while. I know Time is one that's been doing it for quite a long time. Pardon the pun. But I do think it does seem to be very popular in the current meta. So I think after this Cyclone, we'll probably be seeing some tanks coming out. Yep, and there it is. And this can lead into a very strong tank push before Metavax with an early stim.
Yeah, it really can. Again, the existence of this Cyclone, I imagine, just because, we do see Percival playing it safe. He hasn't really been able to scout anything across the map. He didn't go for the initial Reaper opener or a Hellion follow-up or anything like that. So, yeah, he's just trying to play it as safe as possible, but also at the same time trying to also cut as many corners as possible as he can, as he's just chilling here in the bushes. And NightMare, similarly to his previous opponent, is going for 4 gates.
Yeah, quite an aggressive opener coming out from NightMare. It does seem like Protoss players opting for some more safety orientated builds, especially against the aggressive openings of Percival. So could be a little bit that he knows the kind of player that he's up against. Just wants to have these extra gateways ready in case he needs to warp in a lot of units defensively. And it does look like Percival is moving out with his attack, but NightMare looking to intercept it.
Oh, exactly. Do you see the Observer moving out as well? He does end up catching this army. Thankfully for Percival, he only starts getting caught out as he's already on his opponent's side of the map. We do see a bit of a scan. Can he get it? He will get the Observer.
Yeah, nice job picking up the Observer, but we can already see some of these defensive properties of the map that we were already talking about. He hasn't even been stopped here at the natural round, but at the third round, so there's quite a lot of ground for him to cover still.
Yeah, exactly. We do see NightMare actually, oh my god, wrapping around here, looking to try and catch some reinforcements, maybe go for a bit of a surround as well. Bold move here, as Percival is forced to move up the ramp, move up the northern ramp instead, unscouted.
Yeah, I really like this choice by NightMare, realizing that he's got a little bit of extra time. He can cut off the reinforcements, and then when it's time to pull back and defend, he can do that as well. But, a little bit of a aggressive blink here. Does take out both the tanks, but loses quite a few Stalkers. But this takes out so much of the steam for Percival's push, and all the reinforcements are cut off as well, so suddenly in a very awkward position.
Exactly, you say 2 tanks went down, 3 tanks go down as well. Percival, his push has been completely cut off. Oh my god, at the same time though, NightMare is also overextending a little bit, but he's relatively safe and sound back at home, and boys are falling.
Yeah, NightMare feeling very confident to start moving out across the map, and it does look like Percival's been almost meted a little bit by this opening, not quite expecting the how heavily NightMare would commit into gateway units at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Now NightMare's rushing across the map. There is one tank defensively. Thankfully, it will siege up in time. The Observer was sniped earlier, so there is no high ground vision currently outside of that Adept. Meanwhile, oh my god, Percival actually unsieges and he pushes down the ramp.
Yeah, as Tasis would say, if both of these players think it's the right move to fight here, one of them is wrong. So we'll have to see who that is. It does look like NightMare's happy just to kite across the map, and this bio is looking quite weak. We can see some of the disadvantages of not having an early starport is these Stalkers can just pick away at these units, and that's all permanent damage.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of, we still do not see a starport at all, by the way. Percival hasn't opted to take in that direction. He's still producing nothing but units, and to be fair, like, his army is still looking relatively large, but can he make anything happen with it? Because behind this, NightMare, he's expanding. His third base is already up and running. He's already got some shield batteries. He's already got the tech. He has his first Colossus on the way.
Yeah, Percival is on a timer here. The other thing that's really important here is that NightMare has 2 Immortals, but hold that thought, the boys are being pulled.
Oh, let's go!
There's a lot of boys.
Yeah, exactly. Taking a page out of Hormono's book. Let's go. He knows how to get this done. We do have the tank sieging up as well. The Colossus is about to pop out in a couple of seconds, but we'll see how much he's going to lose before that happens.
Yeah, Percival really needs to get some damage done before this Colossus comes out, especially if NightMare can get their shield batteries up. It's going to be very hard for Percival to make any ground, but NightMare's doing a very good job distracting him with these Stalkers, just cutting off some of the reinforcements, dragging away some of the effort of the push of Percival.
Oh god, exactly. It is buying him a lot of time. The first Colossus is out. By the way, we don't have a shield battery or an overcharge ready yet, but here we go. They are finishing up just as we speak. The tanks are in a great position, so they siege upon this third. But again, NightMare, he can afford to lose the third. I mean, the boys were pulled. Like, he can just hold on to 2 bases.
Yeah, mature choice here by NightMare realizes the extent to how all-in Percival is at this point. Percival on 5 racks at home, doesn't even have add-ons on the second 2 racks, so extremely all-in at this point. He does have to finish the game at this with this push.
Yeah, exactly. But NightMare with the high ground gets a couple of swipes of that Colossus. He still has a couple of Stalkers in the backline as well to catch any stray tanks. Speaking of, okay, the tanks don't get caught out yet. One of them almost was, and now we have a second Colossus, and extended thermal lance is done.
Yeah, nice positioning by NightMare, but actually Percival getting a really nice fight here, a good concave. NightMare feeling the pressure to force some siege ups, get this happening before Percival's at his base, but Percival here is right at the doors, and there's almost nothing left except these Colossus, and the shield battery overcharge is running out.
It is running out, but we have the blink going forward on top of the tanks. One tank goes down. Can we get a second? The one Colossus is still standing strong as he can. Likewise, even though there's only one Colossus, at the same time, there's not that much bio remaining.
Yeah, the repairs coming down on those tanks, and this is looking very, very close. Percival's going to start crawling up these tanks, but he really does have to get on top of the production of NightMare.
Yeah, exactly. There's only a single pylon here powering, two pylons powering that gate, that robo. Can it finish? Can the Colossus come out? Looks like it will not. Nice target fire here. Meanwhile, at the same time, Charger's coming from the back line, and that's going to distract the army. That means the Colossus could pop out. Ah.
Oh, yeah, really good target fire there as well with the Charge Loss. Does manage to take out all of those, and this Colossus coming out is disastrous for Percival. He's going to lose so many Marines taking that out.
Oh, exactly, but you know what? He did take it out. That one tank in the backline that's barely alive dished out so much of that DPS. We have another pylon on the way. We have a slow warping of Charge Lots, but only 3 Charge Lots in the end, and Percival isn't done. He's still just rallying everything across the map, and he is breaking the natural of NightMare.
Yeah, Percival making some good ground here. There is a little bit of a worry soon when those Zealots do get warped in, and does look like NightMare actually, he is going to recall to his third, so recalls all those probes and recalls some Zealots as well. It's going to go for a big surround.
Oh, exactly. It looks like he's going to get that tank in the process. He's going to try and dive on top of the Marines, but a second tank comes in just in time. That siege is up in the face of the Zealots, and mate, these Zealots are insane. They actually cleaned this up. Well, they force it back,
yeah, the Zealots doing work here. They push this all the way back down into these bushes below the third, and they will get cleaned up for their troubles, but not without trading out well. And with this next warp in of Zealots, NightMare pushing Percival back, and considering back at home he's still on his 3 bases, this is pretty dire for Percival.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? We still don't have that robo being remade. There's still no Colossi coming out. Instead, we have a Templar Archives on the way. I guess for a Templar, I guess for Archons, we only have a handful of Zealots remaining right now. And the tank is here again. I'm so shocked how much Percival is able to produce despite his economy.
Yeah, but that being said, in these low eco situations, an Archon will absolutely spell to the end to this. There's no way that Percival can get Ghost out, and the Archon with the tankiness, with its recharging shields, will spell the end, but we won't get to see that because GG is called.
GG gets called. NightMare once again catches the reinforcements in the middle of the map, and he has finally weathered the storm. He's able to stop the aggression of Percival, but that was intense.
Yeah, that got really close in the end. It was looking a little bit dicey at the third. When he gave up the third, it looked like he would be in control of this game, but Percival's tank push really started to get on top and do quite a lot of damage there, taking out those Colossus and getting very close to ending the game.
Yeah, that was so close. I'm just trying to think back there, and if there was ever a moment that maybe, I don't know, there were a couple of times where Percival, I guess maybe he was slowed down a little bit too much, like especially early on, right, where he was getting a little bit too distracted by the harassing force, and that did slow him down in the end. Unfortunately, I'm sure I didn't realize that not going for that third base would come into play. I feel like the recall to the third was pretty pivotal as well. The fact that NightMare was able to keep his economy up and running in a very healthy place, so he could just continue to warp in unit after unit despite losing his Colossi. There was just so much that happened there.
Yeah, I think not being able to deny that third was a little bit of an issue. We saw a little bit of indecisiveness as well, not being able to take out the Robo before that Colossus popped as well. So I do think that NightMare may be out multitasking him just slightly, but Percival showing that he has the builds, he has the aggression to make it a dangerous game.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that despite the defensive position, despite the fact that NightMare was, catching reinforcements and utilizing the advantages of the map to his best ability as well, it was still as close as it was. Yeah, I have to wonder, if it was any other map, then maybe he would have found a little bit more success. Tropical Sacrifice definitely didn't help that Percival was doing that build on that map.
That is true. I do think Tropical, I can see why he would go for that build, just because there's some very good tank spots for approaching the third, and even the natural as well. But you can see in this case as well, the length of the reinforce did allow NightMare to do a lot of work with that with those intercepting stalkers.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, props to NightMare as well for utilizing the map the way that he did, and we'll see how things kind of escalate here in game number 2. I don't expect to see that build again from Percival, but I'm sure he's got plenty more up his sleeve.
Yeah, looking at this map inside out, it is one of the shortest rush distance maps in the pool. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him pull out that 3 racks again, but he has shown today that he is converging most of his builds into a 5 racks all in. So it'll be interesting to see if he mixes things up a little bit. If he faces a Stargate opener, for example, goes for a bit more of a macro game. But yeah, he's a very good player. He's got a lot of tricks in the bag, and we'll have to see what he can bring to this one.
Definitely, because spawning in the top right hand corner, we have another very good player, a player who is leading this series 1-0, the South Korean Protoss player representing Team GP. It is NightMare.
And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, in the blue, it is the South Korean Terran, Percival. Say representing random recordings of live Korean rock music. I don't know if you've gone to his stream much, but I always find it. He has this playlist of I really like his music, but for some reason it's always live recordings. It's extremely odd because it's good music. I like it. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe it's like to avoid copyright or something, you know?
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe he just likes the sound of you know, the crowd, you know, the fangirls. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, they're screaming for me, Poppy. I can hear them. The music's just background.
Exactly.
It's the adoring fans. I'd cut the music out if I could.
Look, I would scream for Percival. Have you seen his hair? It's so luscious.
It's clean and sleek.
It's beautiful, Poppy. It's beautiful, and you know, maybe NightMare's a little bit jealous because he's going for something a little bit more aggressive here. He's going for Proxy Gate.
You know, maybe he likes your curls. Maybe you'd go to him and you'd say, "I love this straight, luscious hair," and he'd go to you and he'd be like, "I wish I had these curls."
And it would be the beginning of a beautiful romance. They'd make a Korean drama about it as well. You know, I would be fighting him about taking off his shirt. He'd be talking to me about taking off my pants. It'll be It'll be beautiful. It'll be beautiful.
Okay, it's called My Pro Gamer Boyfriend. Beautiful.
What is happening?
I don't know, but I think you're the producer now. You've got a job. Congratulations.
Okay, I got it.
Job.
I got it.
Who are you going to give the CranKy jersey to? You have to get rid of the shirt, you know.
Speaking of, we do have the first Zelda installed here across the map already. The goal of this is to delay, maybe even deny the natural base. Oh my god, the first Marine already going down, and oh god, you don't want to be these SCVs. It's two of them already full. 3.
Ooh, yeah, the CC and the bunker denied, and the units get in, and there's 2 adepts coming through. Getting on top of this depot is really significant with those adepts on the way, because they're going to be able to shade straight into the mineral line. And if NightMare can deny the mining in the main here, this game is over, and it's already looking pretty rough here. Let's get a mine out for the defense, which really nice connection there, taking out both units, but I don't think he can deal with the 2 stalkers, and neither does he. GG.
GG gets called just like that. Percival, unfortunately, he didn't really quite have the crisis management that he needed to be able to just stop things from cascading the way that they did. As you were saying, the most important part is the fact that he wasn't able to wall off on top of that ramp to keep NightMare out of his base. And there is that GG. NightMare moves on to the semi-finals.
Yeah, I was a little bit distracted by whatever the hell we were talking about. But I'm not sure if Percival got the scout off. This proxy gate 2 gate is something that we've been seeing quite a lot more recently. And I recently saw Hero Marine even lose to it. This is a build, you need to scout it, and I don't think you can hold that low ground. As we saw, the units get there really quickly, and they can deny the bunker building on the low ground. If you don't get a bunker going on the high ground, it can be really hard to survive there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things where, I don't know if you noticed, but every single game that we casted on Percival, he didn't scout once in any of those games. Like, no SCV scout, obviously he didn't go for a Reaper first or anything like that. So he was always kind of playing blind, and there are disadvantages to that.
Yeah, skipping that SCV scout, it is a risk. It's not something you can do every game, and NightMare showing that he did recognize what was going on there, was able to punish, and that's really good tournament play by him.
Oh, definitely. And with that, congratulations to NightMare. My condolences in the end to My condolences to Percival, but it's okay, because if you want to see more of Percival, you know, he's got you with his stream. He got you there, and we already have another series. Oh my.